to the channel, and in this video we're going to be talking about the lovely Alan Titchmarsh, one of my absolute favourite English horticultural presenters. And he was in an interview with Lorraine Kelly. Oh, are you Jimmy Cranky? I can do that because I do have Scottish ancestry. Apparently that's how the rules work if you're doing impressions of people. And he was saying which plant he would advise planting right now, and that is your actual roses. And there are two reasons for that. At this time of year, you can pick yourself up bare root roses, and while it's still February, it's still cold enough, you're not too late for that season of bare root plants. And it's a far cheaper way of purchasing your roses, apparently. Have you seen the prices of roses? I mean, David Austin roses, you need to take yourself out a small mortgage if you want to plant up a rose board. I've been flipping at the prices, what, £35? That's got to be equivalent to about $100. Pick a country, that's dollars, I really don't know. And it's absolutely crazy. I mean, the cost production is hopeless. It really doesn't cost that much to produce roses, but there we have it. They are very expensive and seemingly getting more expensive as every year goes past. Anyway, so I have purchased myself a bare root rose. There you go, it's in here, and I'm going to show you what you need to know about how to plant a bare root rose, because there are mistakes that can be made. Anyway, first thing, when you come to buying bare root roses, bare root trees, bare root shrubs, any of these plants bare root, which are only available over the winter period, these typically get lifted end of the autumn. They actually spray the leaves off, I think. Now I might have to check. I think it's with paraquat, and what that does is it defoliates the plant. And once the leaves have been defoliated, it kind of puts that plant in dormancy, so you can lift it and process it as a bare root plant without the plant from drying out. But you've always got to be careful about the roots. You do not want the roots drying out, and because of that, if the roots dry out, then the plant will end up dying shortly afterwards. So we purchased our bare root plant. Let's have a look at it. So the first thing you need to do is get the plant out of the box. All I need is a pair of trusty scissors. Come on. And there you have it. Can you see that? Okay. Now, if you are finding the information in this video useful, or perhaps just mildly amusing and you'd like to pass it on, then by all means press the like button. It supports this channel immensely and helps us do what we do. Don't forget, you can also click onto the subscription button. Subscription is absolutely free, and you can unsubscribe at any time. It doesn't cost you anything, and if you want to be notified whenever we publish a new video, then all you need to do is click on that notification bell. Anyway, let's continue to find out what old Boyle Belt has to say. Right, so there you have it. This is the rose that we have bought, which is bare root. Let's just unwrap it. So this has got cling film on it, and this cling film is here to try and keep the moisture in. What you don't really want to have is condensation building up inside the root ball, because that could possibly increase the risk of fungal infection, especially, let's open it up. Especially if you've got fresh cuts on the root, which we don't have here. We do have, as you can see, we do have quite a lot of new buds coming through, which is a bit of a worry, because it means that the plant is warming up, the metabolism is starting to get going, and it does mean that the roots are going to follow. So, do you know what? There's already see that white dot there? You see that? So new roots are forming, and you need this in the ground really before that happens. So that's like one. So we've got away with it. Okay, so they lift them, they wash the roots, they're cut. You see how stiff these roots are. Roses do produce quite a strong taproot, big woody system. So when you're planting these out, you tend to use a pot that's called a long tom, and a long tom pot is a plant that is significantly deeper than a regular pot in order to accommodate this larger root ball. So we'll be getting a pot for this. You could plant this directly into the ground if you wanted to, but I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put this yet, so in the ground it will go. To show you the parts of the rose, because this is actually two plants stuck together. You got the rootstock, which is probably Rosa laxa, that's Rosa laxa is the rootstock that is generally used here in the UK. You've got this part, which is the scion, which is the part of the plant you're trying to reproduce. So this part of the plant here and this part of the plant here, these are related plants, but this is not the same plant. And these are tea-budded. I don't know if you can just see. You can see roughly where a tea bud is like a small section of bark with a shoot on it that is kind of grafted using a tea section here. So it's not strictly a graft union, but it is the union of where the original tea bud went into, and they remove the top of the plant and just leave the rootstock. So there you go. So you've got two plants for the price of one, and that's probably why they charge you a lot more of it, because it is I'm going to say grafted. It is tea buddy, but you know, it's a grafted plant. You've got different root ball to the top. So that being said, it doesn't look too bad, and if you're interested in which variety it is King Charles Coronation, which you'll recognize because I'll be using this in another video. So it's a really good plant. Now if you've seen these videos before, you'll know I don't like roses in particular because of the thorns. You get those in your fingers, you can get septic cuts or wounds, and it's also pink, and you know I don't like pink. But the thing is, this rose is different. I've put a little picture of what this rose looks like. It's got those really lovely frilly edges to the petals, and in my mind this looks very much like a peony bloom, and peony blooms don't last very long on peonies. You're only looking 2-3 weeks at most, really, and quite often the rain hits them and entirely ruins the plant. Whereas this is a floribunda rose, if I can remember that correctly. So I'm going to get blooms for a significant amount of time, so I'm going to get that peony style of bloom, but for much longer. And I'm hoping, because this is a modern hybrid, that it's going to have some pretty decent disease resistance, because we all know back in last century roses were shocking for picking up pests and diseases. So with luck this will be a lot better. So let's get on with it. Let's get this thing potted up. Oh yeah, and by the way, whenever you buy bare root plants, as soon as you get them, you plant them up. You don't want these hanging around, you don't want them drying out. Drying out is one of the biggest killers of bare root plants. So let's get on with the potting on. Oh, and while I'm setting up my table, I'm just going to put that in some water just to start it off. So, as I said earlier, and with the help of my lovely wife Lorna,
hello,
feel free to ask any pertinent questions, or any questions really.
I thought you were going to say personal questions.
Personal questions.
How lovely is your wife?
Oh, it's very lovely. I said a long tom. Now this isn't a true long tom, but it is a pot. Ignore that.
Good job that wasn't a tortoise falling off the table.
This is a pot that's fairly deep.
It is deep
to accommodate the root system. Obviously, you can purchase a better one, and this is just going to be a temporary. I just want it established in the pot. Then I'm going to take it out and plant it somewhere. Once all the bulbs have come through, all the herbaceous has come through, then I can see what spaces I've got in the garden. So I don't want to plant it in right now because I might have to move it later, and I don't really want to do that. And just one thing, if you are planting your rose in the ground, always be aware of rose sickness. You cannot plant a new rose where you have taken out an old rose. Back in the day, the Victorians did not know what was causing this, so it was just generally called rose sickness. But nowadays we know that it is a microorganism. It is nematodes. You have these pest nematodes that attack the root system. So if you take a rose out that's been attacked by the nematode, you put a new rose in, the nematodes are still there, they'll just attack your new rose. So whenever you're planting a new rose, never plant it where your rose was. Anyway, to continue. So if this was going to be a lovely ornamental pot and a permanent display as such, then you would put some crocks in the bottom so that when you watered it, you don't get the leaching of soil out onto your lovely fancy patio. But because this is temporary, I'm not too worried about that, so we're just going to put in straight compost. Now, some things you need to be aware of.
Okay, let's have a look.
Where you have where this tea bud has taken, you have this, I'm going to call it the graft union, but it's not a grafted plant. You don't want soil around this because this can increase the infection at the union. So
we also stimulate the suckers to come off from the rootstock.
We'll get onto that in a minute. But
okay,
you can already see they have tea budded this quite low on the stem, because you've got the you actually root at the same level or even higher than the resulting stems. Really, you would have a little gap there, so you could plant. So we're going to be quite careful where we plant this. So the soil really is going to be about here.
Yeah.
And then, as Lorna said, any resulting growth from below the soil line will be from the rootstock and will not be this cultivar.
And that's how you get these sort of vigorous shoots that don't look anything like the rest of the rows, and yeah, they really need to be cut out.
Indeed. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the compost to about 1.5 inches from the top of the pot, so that when I come to water it, I have like a reservoir fills up and as it goes down.
Okay.
You do see so many people where they
fill it right up to the top.
Yes.
Why do they do that?
It's stupid.
It's because they're not horticulturalists.
And then you water it and it just
Why do you
rolls
do
off
that?
the side.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. So you got 1.5 inches from the pot surface, and also it needs to be below that graft line. So that's just a little bit of a technical point which reduces the risk of infection getting into that. And that's with any grafted plant. You need to keep the soil line below where that graft is. So this, I know I'm always banging on about never disturb the root system, but because this root system is dormant and there's nothing happening, you are more than welcome to do this.
Oh my God.
Only time I'm going to allow you to do it.
What?
And you could separate the roots out. But of course, it's so stiff on this rose, that's not going to happen. So we just go in like
They're
this.
quite hardy, aren't they?
They are quite
When they're in this dormant stage, they're fine.
They are indeed.
They are fine. Right, and pick the compost off the floor.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
Now, this is currently
Yes.
I know also gone about how rubbish modern composts are. Now, this one is actually my favourite of all that I can find. It's the multi-purpose.
Not a sponsored ad. Yes.
No, not sponsored. Mixed with the John Lennis. This
Yeah.
seems to be the best.
The best solution.
At the moment.
Yeah.
Unless you can find something that's better, you can.
Unless you're making your own compost. Leaf mould.
Well, you're going to need to have some sort of sterilisation system.
You are indeed.
Because again, microorganisms, fungus, all the rest of it.
Right, let's watch the man in action.
Well, put a bit in the bottom.
Wow. Okay.
Right, so just getting that graft line right.
Okay.
So really, if I aim to have this graft line roughly at the soil at the top of the pot,
Okay.
that should be about right.
Have a look, everyone. What do we think? Let's judge him. We'll judge Simon. Yeah, it's not bad, honey. Not bad. You want to do this for a living?
Yeah, so it's an odd position to put the original bud, but it is what it is.
Yep.
If I was tea butting, I'd have put the tea bud higher
We
up.
were just saying how expensive roses are these days. It's shocking, isn't it?
Shocking.
Shocking. I mean, they're so expensive. Mind you, everything's expensive, but roses in particular.
They seem to have gone up far
Species
beyond
roses,
all
they've
other
gone.
plants.
Yeah, they've certainly rocketed.
Yeah, back in the day,
Yeah.
back last century,
Yes.
your typical rose would be the same sort of price as all your rest of your shrubs.
Rosy shrubs.
But they kind of double the
£8 or
price now.
£9, so about nearly £30 now.
Are roses a premium product
No,
compared to other plants?
no.
I don't think so.
I don't think they're, they stick them in a nursery, bud them along, and they can produce them quite quickly. They're not like bonsais. Look at this. It's doing well, everyone. Look at that.
Yeah, it's very low
And
down.
what
that
rose
bud.
is this, honey?
This is Rosa King Charles Coronation.
Ooh, and what colour is that?
It's pink,
Oh, what kind of pink?
light pink.
Oh, the worst kind of pink.
Worst.
There's
Oh,
worse. Why? I suppose it is King Charles and you're feeling patriotic.
Yeah, it's a lovely plant. It's a lovely shrub.
Okay. All right. Is it a double, single,
Double.
double? Okay. Is it scented? Oh, you don't want nothing.
That I don't know.
I don't know. I'd hope so.
I think we're kind of there.
All right. Looks fabulous. We can give it a bit of a water.
Yeah, on a nursery,
Yeah.
this would just go out onto the
Yeah.
nursery beds. Now you could put this in a unheated greenhouse to sort of bring it along a bit faster, but then you're going to have to harden it off. once you take it out the greenhouse. So this will just go under my tree.
Okay.
Go under my tree, and
So
we'll water that in.
Perfect.
Now it's quite cold today, but it is warming up by the end of the week.
It is cold today.
And as soon as those temperatures start to rise,
Yeah.
we'll start getting the new growth.
Amazing.
So, and as soon as that new growth on the roots appears, these buds are going to take really quickly. So give it a couple of weeks, and it's going to be a different looking plant. So there you go. Any questions, Lorna?
How long before I see my first double pink flower?
It will be this year.
Summer?
June, July.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's and next year that'll be earlier. There's a delay this year because it's got to establish that root
Of
system
course.
first.
Of course.
Anyway.
It looks fabulous. I shall look forward to that.
Well, so do I. I just hope it's as nice as it looks in the picture.
Excellent.
Right, now, just before you go, if you want to see more content, more behind the scenes stuff, and images that I've taken of some weird freaky plants over the years, then you're in luck, because we've created an Instagram page. So you can find the link in our description. You can find the link on our main page, and if I'm clever enough, I might be able to get a link somewhere up there. Anyway, thank you for watching, and if you want to see more YouTube stuff, then check out this video here. That's quite a good one. And if it doesn't float your boat, then another one right there. And enjoy these while I've still got the strength, imagination and aptitude to make them. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.